Today we're going to talk about due diligence checklists, what we look for, what we check for, and where we've nearly been caught out.
Yes.
There's so much to look for before purchasing a property. It's easy to overlook things, isn't it?
Of course. Well, look, first and foremost, for investors out there, how many properties are on the market and how long have they been staying on the market for, which is a major one for me. So we like to find properties that knowing it's a trend in that particular area, this is where the prices coming in early and this is where the prices are starting to creep up.
Yeah.
Okay? Understanding that, knowing that properties have been on the market for a very short period of time, you're noticing that there's a trend in that particular area which is driving prices higher. That's, I guess, it's a due diligence that I like to, be in for those purchases. But obviously, the main things are how much are you buying the property, having a look at what recently has been sold for a similar property.
Yeah.
Okay. And knowing that you're not overpaying because property down the road and another one around the corner that's identical to the one you're looking at, you're actually purchasing for the right or under market price. That's one thing. Doing a flood check, especially in areas like Queensland, it's very important to know the local council websites and punching in the address and seeing, hey, is my address affected within flood or even fire? So doing those checks. Another thing that I do like doing is just to double down on that is going on to, say, an insurance website, okay? Punching in the address, doing all the requirement questions that they do and seeing what kind of a premium they have.
That's a giveaway.
That's a giveaway because if anyone is going to do their due diligence properly, it's the insurance company.
Yeah.
So I highly, highly recommend doing that. Another thing, if you can, there are some councils that will provide information on government housing, on how, if you have a lot of government housing in the particular area, in your street or even next door, this can or cannot be, an issue for tenants. So having an understanding of where these are located helps. Obviously, doing your numbers. What I mean by that is we use, and I just recommend doing your own spreadsheet of adding in what the cost of the property is, how much rent would that particular property return. Pick up the phone and call a couple of property managers within that area and find out, hey, what kind of rental return would this particular property get? Throw that in there, find out what the council rates are, what the water rates are, insurance, throw that in and see what sort of what kind of actual returns you'll be getting in that for that property. I guess that should be one of the first things you should be doing.
Yeah. There's a lot to think about. What if something gets overlooked?
Okay.
How catastrophic can it be? Depending on...
It depends on what it is.
Have you got any stories of something that's been overlooked?
Look, it wasn't overlooked, and I know one particular property that was purchased in Logan, Brisbane, which is a southwest area, and this happened probably a couple of years ago. We did all the flood checks, and then Logan Council upgraded their flood mapping. And it just happened as the property was being settled. Yeah.
That's a bit of bad luck there.
Look, it's bad luck, but what can...
Was that when we had all the... Because I know Sydney, a lot of councils updated their flood maps as well because we had a few back-to-back floods.
Yeah.
And councils were changing what their tolerances were for different areas.
Yeah. Well, look, yeah. I've also heard from people that were ex-council that they actually over-exaggerate some of it as well, where they said, well, this particular area was never flooded, but they've just added in there just in case in the future.
Well, I suppose if there's been a lot of new development in the area, you got water being redirected and new runoff from all the new concrete and stuff.
But these were well established suburbs. Yeah. So
I think as well, when people do their due diligence, they've got to be really careful with who they get their advice from, because a lot of people will downplay risk of
100%.
downplay issues. We've got friends who purchased a property for the purpose of knockdown rebuild.
Mhm.
And the property had a tree in the backyard that would have been in the footprint of a new home that they would have wanted to build. It wasn't a gum tree, so they were told, oh, well, it's not a native. You know, if you have any issues getting rid of it. They go to submit their plans to council. Council says, no, you have to retain the tree.
Yep. Yeah.
So little things like that where the issue is known, they've identified the tree, but somebody's told them, oh, no, she'll be all right. It's okay. You know, at what point do you calculate risk and go, no, I'm not going to touch that property just in case, versus I'll gamble on it because it's a calculated risk?
See, I don't like taking risks.
Neither do I.
No. So what I do is, if there's a question, look, whatever the tree is, just get an arbitrist out there just to have a look at the tree. It's going to cost you, what, a few $100s? And it's going to save you.
See, I always say have a backup plan. So can you design a house without having to knock down the tree?
Oh, right. Okay.
Great. If you, I'm not challenging you. I'm just saying what I would do.
Yeah.
Can I still build something without removing the tree? Or does the tree really stuff up all my plans? You know, what are my strategies or what are my contingencies?
Yep. And I've seen houses that were U-shaped that went around the tree.
They might have had to.
Yeah. You know, and it works.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
And trees, particularly in certain areas, they're going to be on every property. You know, we bought a knockdown rebuild, same thing. It had a tree on it, and I think it was a gum, or I don't know what it was. I didn't really care because it wasn't where I was going to put a house. I mean, ideally, if I wanted to build a big monstrosity of a house, that tree would have to go.
Yep.
But if I couldn't get rid of the tree, I could fit still a very decent house.
It depends on the size of the land, of course.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we had rented that property for a number of years first before knocking down and rebuilding. And there was a storm. And the morning after the storm, the property manager rang me. She goes, the tree's fallen down. I go, did it land on the house? She said, no, it landed on the kids' cubby house.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, they can have a new cubby house. I'm so glad that tree is gone.
Yeah.
How good is this?
Yeah.
So sometimes, you know, storms help you out as well. But generally, in that case, if that tree was any closer to the house, I wouldn't have purchased it. But because it was far enough away, not an issue. I think as well, due diligence in terms of easements. You know,
I was going to say that,
when investors purchase a property, they might not have the intention at the time of purchase to do any works on the property, but down the track, you want the option to be open.
That's right.
Or for resale value, for the next buyer, you want the option to be open.
And look, the other thing is also finding out, since we're talking about, you know, additional developments, find out what the minimum land size is. Just a phone call to the council to find out, hey, what is my minimum? I want maybe in the future to throw a granny flat in there. What's the minimum land size that will allow that?
Even if you've got no intention right now.
That's right. Yeah, it's always good to know this and have that information, you know, in your pocket.
Yeah, definitely.
It helps later, because you might not be a savvy investor now, but believe me, if you're planning to be a savvy an investor, it will come later.
You grow into it.
And I always tell my clients, just, you know what, just take that one with a slightly larger block of land, because you never know. Yeah. And years down the track, I've seen them, okay, hey, that was great advice, because now we're building a granny flat.
But on that same note as well, if you are aware of minimum lot sizes and say you're an owner-occupier or you really have no interest in subdividing, I'll give an example. Blacktown Council allows on corner blocks, Torrens title subdivisions if you've got 600 square metres on a corner block.
Yep.
So a block that is 601 square metres will sell for a lot more than one that is 599 square metres.
Yep.
All else being identical.
Yep.
So if there's a $30,000 or $40,000 saving over 2 square metres, your rental yield, I mean, future sale, you also have to sell cheap, you know, buy low, sell low, buy high, sell high. But if you're just a yield chaser, a cash flow chaser, knowing those minimum lot sizes and buying just below them can give healthy discounts as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you've been doing quite a few of those. Not on the on the other end.
Well, it's all about the due diligence, right? You got to know what you can and can't do, but also how to use it to your advantage. So even if you're not the developer looking to purchase those subdivision lots, know where the developers are prepared to pay more and scoot in just below them.
Yep. Exactly. Perfect.
It's all magic almost, isn't it?
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom, Dragan.
No
if
problem.
people want more wisdom from you, where should they go?
To the link propertysession.com.au/15, and that's the number 15, or the link below.
Yeah, and we can help people with their due diligence and all these sorts of questions in helping determine what to buy.
100%.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Dragan.
Thank you.